Going on, guys? It's me, Shukshu, and we are back with another Musume video with the League of Heroes. I think happening in like 2 days? Was it 2 days? I think it's happening on the 20th. I pretty much have one decent Uma, I guess. I think it's decent. my Guri right there, the UB6. But the others are like a UB3 and a UB or a UB1, something like that. So pretty much whoever I can train that are, I guess, around that range will be in the League of Heroes. So I'm just pretty much gonna keep trying to train, I guess, Umas that I feel more comfortable. Orfevre is obviously one of them, being a chaser, so I don't know. Just chaser's apparently my best position, or has been for a while now. We're gonna go with it, and for the setup, we're gonna be pretty much doing the same setup we did with the cap one and the keto one and the last one. Pretty much from what it looks like, based on the cap one, the 2 guts will work out, as long as, especially if we want a better chance in getting guts, just I guess the 7 to cap out, along with good RNG with speed to make it to 1900 plus, whatever it is gonna be, and everything else. It's just all just has to work out. But pretty much the same setup. Pretty much the same setup. The only thing that's different is, instead of Transcend, we're just using Stay Gold, because we're just using Stay Gold. But yeah, Almondai, Speed, Tamama Power, Stay Gold, Haru, Guts, Super Creek, Stamina, and the Hoshina burn card, and that is pretty much the setup. So we are just gonna get the run started, and before we do go over the run or do the training and go over the comments, if you guys haven't joined the Discord server, link is down in the description. There is a channel called Circle Quest for those who haven't joined Circle or are looking for a circle to join. Y'all are free to join the circle that I'm in. It is called Shushu. Once you give that a search, hit request join, it'll let me know that you want to join the circle. And then after that, head over to the comments section or the circle request channel on our Discord server. Let me know that you sent the request along with your in-game name, just so I can make sure to add you into the circle and not somebody else. But sorry if I was adjusting my mic while I was also talking about that. If it wasn't obvious, that's why we haven't gotten past that part, the beginning or the intro yet. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, it should be fine, but I think it's just, maybe I'm just talking more than louder than I normally do for some reason. I don't know. You guys obviously wouldn't be able to really tell as much, because obviously I would make sure that not too loud when I'm speaking. But yeah, well, hopefully it isn't. Sometime, I think recently, I think I forgot to do it once, I think. But I don't think anyone noticed, because no one said anything. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But pretty much I haven't gotten an Uma since it is the League of Heroes, but at the same time, I don't know how it's gonna go. I don't know how it's gonna go. Okay with doing this, just because it'll give me whatever wise I can get. Uh, but what else is also global should be having. Well, I guess I'll find out when I go to the global side. But global's CM should be in a few days as well. I don't remember, but I'll I guess just talk about that later on when I go into the global video. But yeah, my only idea right now is just try to I guess the best thing I can try to do is to at least get my Umas to around closer to UB6, at least all of them. The UB6, UB5, maybe. Just high enough to be around each other. I mean, yeah. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So far, I'd say we've been okay. I say we've been okay. I did try to do Kita again off camera, but that one was actually a better run than what happened in the video. So I guess it's alright. I guess it's alright. Actually, I wasn't sure if I was. Probably was. Probably was gonna tell me that it was gonna recover, maybe, because the gauge is almost down. But who knows? Regardless, debut race. And then there we go. And there we go. Guys, we are now done with the debut race. Got the new Hot Springs stuff going. Gotta keep going. But pretty much. I don't know why I thought about it. Can't use the top one. Can't pick the top option. Well, I can if I wanted to, but... Did I unlock the dates? No, we still don't have the dates unlocked. I think we'll do a couple more turns and then we'll probably go over the comments because I did kind of take a peek by loading in, and although not as much as the last two, there are few more longer ones, so I'd probably have to consider that I'd be in that comment for a bit. So, I think we go over the comments starting now. The first comment being from, yeah, this is definitely not as long of scroll through what the comment says the last 2 videos. First comment is from Rick. What is next CM? League of Heroes. I haven't trained on the new scenario manually yet. Are we talking about like literally the one in 2 days? 2-3 days? Or like next month's? I believe next month is still... Well, I guess I could check. I guess I can check. Just give me a quick sec to do... Not even Hoshina's here. Hoshina is not here. So I would just do a speed training. Let me load up the news. Yeah. But yeah, as we know, this month is League of Heroes, which is the 20th, if I'm not mistaken. And that one is Dirt Mile, just in case you forgot. And if we're talking about next month, it's still Mile, just it's a CM also, and except it's turf instead of dirt. Pretty much just the same, just turf. So yeah. That's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. Now in January, just because it's long distance turf CM. That's it. And that's pretty much it. What can I do here? Could just rest normally, because we're close to finishing the onsen things. But Nova responded saying, my first impression is that it's actually not that bad. I kind of get what to do at least 80% of the time. Still not as brain dead simple as the island scenario. See, the weird thing about this scenario is I don't feel like there's really like too much I feel like there's nothing really complicated about it. It's just I just can't figure out what the heck I'm doing wrong. If I'm being honest, if I am doing anything wrong, obviously probably most likely there is something I can do to improve my run. I don't know, maybe like I said, the choices or something. But yeah, all of us, like I said, are, from what I feel like, surprisingly, all of us, there's at least probably one, maybe usually at least one or two that I would probably have figured out one thing or another. But other than that, it's pretty much just whatever we can find online if we really want to go find something. Or be like Rick and just completely wait for Game Torah, but sometimes you can't really... Game Torah once in a while will just make you wait. Sometimes that happens for my videos, well, the banner overview videos, or the new ones. Sometimes they make me wait for like hours. Well, not even hours. I would probably wait like an hour. I think the longest I waited was like 2 hours. And that was fairly recent. I forgot who was. It was fairly recent though. Probably like a month ago. But yeah. Yeah, I don't even want to do the date also because we have full of the onsen tablets. But thank you, Rick, for the comment, and Nova for the reply. Next comments are gonna be from Nova, and the first one says, I guess it's about your onsen runs. My first run in this onsen scenario yielded me a UB1. Better than mine. Better than mine. I think my mine was in the mid UCs, I think. At the same time, I also did reach UD at one point, so. The onsen ticket is generous, but you still need to plan around it for summer and Ura. Yeah, that's probably where I essentially screw up, probably. Most likely. Is the timing. The friend card actually heals only once. I was caught off guard by that, but I guess you use it to maximize onsen tickets to get that big ticket. I mean, it makes sense also, because the onsen ticket doesn't necessarily, it doesn't eat up the turn. It just heals you, and I guess gives you a boost in stats, training stats. That's pretty much it. And I guess the dates are pretty much used on dead turns, if anything. That's from my understanding, like dead turns where it is like you don't feel like the training is good enough type of deal, pretty much, or there's like nothing to train. You still got a date, which I feel like, unlike myself, I've mentioned this, we want to probably get rid of the dates as soon as possible, like at least towards the middle, but I've always failed to do that, if I'm gonna be honest. I always end up bringing it towards like the last 10 turns, or yeah, 10. I'll probably be like 2 left if I'm really holding on to it. And if I'm really not paying attention, well, I'll probably have if I haven't been paying attention, which would probably most likely mean I haven't been using dates, so that's also another thing. It's also another thing. But yeah, I think it only heals in the third option, right? Yeah, I think so. Looked up the guide from JPS to what to pick with the buffs. And yeah, I just need to make sure if I hit the milestones in time. I don't know what these milestones are. So failing a training run like the last scenario is not ideal at all. Failing a training run. They were right in that you don't need to race at all in this scenario outside of the mandatory ones. Yeah, if we're doing extra races, it's wasting turns for training, pretty much. Pretty much from what it seems like. So I guess just only do the races you need to do. What I would say. Yeah, I think so. I will say that the loudspeaker is something I didn't use at all the first time because I didn't know what it does. Overall, not as complicated than what my initial fear was. The loudspeaker. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. But there's still a learning curve. I don't know what you're talking about, the loudspeaker. It's kind of thrown me off. US seems to be kind of difficult if you do not have maximum speed inheritance to get 2k speed. I think if my suspicions were correct, when I think, was it yesterday's video? I think it was yesterday's video where I mentioned the whole, like, is this scenario not as much, not as far from a last scenario, like it's been since the Great Food Festival, and it definitely seems that way because I'm just struggling to get back to mid UBs. So I would assume I did have the best for me to get UA last time, I definitely had to have better cards, at least one better card between. I think it's basically just my stamina card at that point, right? Because yeah, right now, well, besides the Haru card, but definitely if maybe my stamina card was updated to the Air Shakur one, maybe I would actually be getting higher trainings, especially in the island scenario. I think it would have been better for me, but Obviously, I didn't. I felt like I was capped out at like high UBs because my highest was UB9. So I feel like my cap could be, well, not my cap, my training for this scenario could be still around the same, and like low UAs. I just need to figure it out. So that means those who are reaching like UAs last time easier should be able to easily reach UA, and yeah, US should be still be a little bit harder unless you have like the inheritance or like the better stuff, I would say. At least that's what I think. But 2K inheritance, I think I could reach two speed if I did have just all speed inheritance, but would I do that? Well, no, because my parents aren't only on the speed, so no. I actually started farming the older missions in Zealous along with the agent stories. I started with chapter 2 and did Nekomato, Grace, and yeah. I read it and I was like, who the frick is Coldea? Yes, who the freak is Coldea? It's like the letters are right. The spelling is just not right. So it's throwing me off. But I'm gonna finish chapter 3 with Lygon and Arena Agent Stories. The fact that you get 20 or 30 rocks per mission is actually nice. If I can get through all the missions and Agent Stories, I'm gonna be sitting in the mid 25k rocks most likely. Good thing that I have a week to grind it out. Also, using Idhari in these old missions feels like cheating. At last, this is truly what power creep feels like. Well, because by that, they weren't supposed to be beat with Idhari at the time. That's all I could say, really, because it's a big gap. It's a big gap between the releases, but also I forget that they kept some of the TV stuff in these missions. My initial reaction when I started Zealous a year ago was the TV system was a turnoff for me. However, now I do think that some TV is okay. I never had a problem, like I said. You were part of the group of people who disliked it. Me, it was just... It just felt different. I just felt different from other games, so I didn't mind it as much. Or I just didn't mind it at all. But for some odd reason, everyone and the grandmas were complaining about it. Like literally, I was like, well, whatever. Oil took the easier way out by getting rid of TV altogether, but I'm like, well, if you can refine the TV system to make it more fun, like that one event where you get endless power buffs for characters, but the mode was disappointing because by the time you get all the fun buffs, the mode was already over. Then there's already an audience. There's definitely an audience for those TV features. My stance is that devs should strive to cater to more than just one type of player base. Well, I mean, if you think about it, it was either get rid of the TV thing or keep it around. The easiest option, obviously, would be to just take it out altogether and work around it in the future, which they did. They got rid of it and then just eventually you never really noticed it was part of the game unless you were there at the time it was there, or unless you played the beginning. But after a while, you don't really necessarily notice it unless someone mentions it. So yeah, I don't really see. I think the reasoning of them just getting rid of it altogether is that I think the general feedback they got from it was, yeah, they just didn't want it. They just didn't want it. It's like, just like yourself. It's like you were turned off. A lot of people were turned off by it or just hated it. So it's like, instead of even leaving a piece of it or to be like somewhat used in the future, we're just gonna scrap it because we'd rather cater the 90% and the 10%. Is basically what I get out of it. It's like there's 10% who's okay with it, and then the 90%. So it's like, why even bother keeping it around if only 10% of the people care about it? So remove it all together and call it a day. Don't have to worry about it again in the future. Less on their plate, and they can just work on something else. Pretty much. And then, oh god, Lycon's story mentioned this so-called Mockingbird organization. I definitely never heard of them before. Well, I mean, obviously I did say that the agent's story missions were either side stories that were, side stories that happened in between stories, or like in between the main story, or it was like a past thing that happened. So yeah, there you go. But at the time, obviously, it was already mentioned. He already talked about it because we did have. I actually know that is where he talked about it. So yeah, I already knew about it, but it's because I did it. The ones I didn't do. Who was the ones I didn't do? I forgot who I didn't do, but should probably do it sooner than later, but still haven't done it. For reverse, well, I didn't know the story drop was part of the main lore. I was planning on skipping it, but I guess I can't. That's probably going to be 4 to 5 hours grind whenever I get to it. I did clear out the event shop, so that's done at least. I don't know, for me at least, when I just see new story, I'm just like, new story for reverse. Time to do it. You see the end, I'm so close to level 50 that I can feel it. Even after getting to level 50, I still have to level up some characters. But yeah, those credit things get too scarce at the end. My recommendation is to save those and use it frugally. So once you get 6 characters built, since this game does follow the ZZZ model or Zenless model. It was weird saying ZZZ. Like, okay. Not only with the 50-50, but also they have Shiyu defense. I don't think I would want to call it Shiyu defense. Or even, yeah, I call it Shiyu defense because I don't even know what you're talking about. And 2, because the gameplay is different. But a very dumbed down version of that. But it does give you decent currency for pulls. I don't know how it would be a dumbed down version. A Shiyu defense. So basically an event mode with 2 bosses per stage, per node. It's basically what I'll get out of it. I get what you're trying to say. It's just weird with comparing the gameplays. It's like choosing cards and actually playing with the keyboard or controller if you're playing the controller. Mega Gardevoir has been my savior in some of those mega fights, not gonna lie. For me, it was my strongest Excadrill, so. Also, I looked up how to get Delphox and Greninja to Mega Evolve, and sadly, they can only be obtained via actual online PvP, and I'm like, oof. So I boxed them, and now I got a Mawile and Frostlass as replacement. I remember that Pokemon Sword that I did use all Ghost type team. I just like ghosts with double attributes. Well, for now, we are locked behind not being able to use the starters or the Kalos starters for their megas until they implement it in the game. Basically, well, they do have it in the game. What I mean is like for free players, non-online players, or non-PvP players, so to speak. So yeah, it's fine. I'm just waiting. I was disappointed too when I figured it out because it was in the middle of me recording the Pokemon videos, and yeah, I was like, cool. I can get a Froakie, evolve it, use Greninja, and by the time later on, maybe I can use Mega Greninja. No, I'll just wait longer till when it's possible for us to get the Greninja Mega Stone. When? I don't know. I'll just wait. Fooling is whatever in my opinion. I don't know why she's popular with the player base, but it is what it is. I just want Chisa to finish my collection. Oh boy. Will I pull on every character in 3.0? Well, if they increase the dude ratio, then maybe not. I don't know. They added 2 dudes this patches. This batch of patches, and you pulled all the characters, which included 2 dudes. So I don't know if they increase the dude ratio or the amount of pulls or like another banner or 2 for dudes. I won't be surprised if you pull for them because you've already pulled for 2. We'll say the Brant one made sense because, you know, you did say Chun-Li's your number 1 and all that, at least time. And that's why you, or at least even the team was your, like your most used team, I think, at the time. Probably still is. But I don't know. I could definitely see you pulling for more dudes in the future. Well, I was the total opposite this time around, where I was like, most of the time I don't pull, so I didn't see a need. Definitely didn't need it. Definitely didn't need it. Would have been better. It would have definitely made certain teams better, but it still doesn't stop me from clearing things with a similar team. Just not as smooth as using it with them. So it is what it is, but it still works. But for bullying, I don't know. I have nothing against her. But it just be, they just think she's cool. Maybe. Maybe you just think she's cool. Maybe she's just likable. I don't know. It is what it is. To be honest, the Switch 2 is my console now, just because Nintendo is being a meanie. Other than that, yeah, looking forward to getting my next gaming laptop in 2 years. I mean, is it? Could have waited till like later on when there were possibly more games for the Switch 2 for you to play with. Could have waited. You didn't have to get it now. It's still fairly new. Well, it is new. It's been only, what, a couple months. So, yeah, I think all of the console talk, I think Legitimately, Nintendo seems like the only one who technically should be around if you think about it, because majority of the games we play are on Xbox PS5, and then eventually most games at release will be in PC also. So it's like PC is, especially if the future prices of consoles are basically a budget gaming PC, getting a PC seems more justified than buying a console, in my opinion. In my opinion. But yeah, Nintendo's literally probably the only one, because we can't get Nintendo games on Steam. That would be, yeah, that's definitely not a Nintendo thing to do. Knowing how they are, definitely not a thing they would do. It's not bad, but I think I should just do this. Gets rid of all the dates and I don't have to worry about it. And then Nova says, also Eugen sus. I don't know what he said. I don't remember what he said, so. No. Next comment says, Star Rail, huh? It's an interesting case study just because they were Hoyo's second game and Genshin was the primary comparison. After a year or so, the sentiment has been going towards the opposite way. I see more negative posts about HSR in general. I still think that the character designs are pretty good. I can't say much after this just because I never picked up HSR. I'm gonna reply that part because the second half talks about Zenless. Well, you did say when it started, not a year later when it started, but I get it. I mean, eventually, after a year later is when the crack started and started to show, where the same people from Genshin were giving the same vibes or the same feeling of Star Rail. It pretty much just started, yeah, like a year later, because all the power creep was starting to get noticed and all that. People are like, oh my gosh, these new characters are power creeping the old ones. Can't use the old ones anymore. Oh my gosh, I need to get a new character because power creep. Yeah, it's full story. Sure, power creep. Whoa. I mean, I saw it coming. Zenless for me, the reason why I didn't pick Zenless, even though I would agree that out of the three main Hoyo games, I know there's Honkai Impact, but I don't necessarily, no one really necessarily talks about it unless you play it. I do play it, and I don't even talk about it. Probably because it's my least focused Hoyo game. Yes, I did say Genshin was out of the three was my least serious, but out of the four, Honkai Impact is my least serious, like less serious, least serious, least everything, all of it. But I still play it. I just don't talk about it. There's nothing to talk about. Well, I could have, but like I said. But for Zenless, the reason why I didn't say Zenless is because in the beginning is when there was like, oh, the like kind of iffy feedback based just on like how it's a quote unquote gooner game. Just because of that, like, oh, the gooner game, oh, because it's a gooner game, it's turning away female players, stuff like that. Yeah, I saw stuff like that in the beginning, which is why I didn't pick Zenless. But if we're gonna pick a now thing, then yeah, Zenless has nothing as a talk about. Plus, there was all the people complaining about the TV stuff in the beginning. So yeah, can't really pick Zenless if we're going with the initial response, because I felt more negative in the initial response from Zenless compared to Star Rail. But eventually, some point in time in the future, Oyo community will find a way to just blend all of them together sooner or later. Sooner or later. So don't be surprised if somehow, some way, Zenless ends up part of the group, or if what you commented a few weeks ago, or where we said Zenless and Wuwa are the illegitimate child of Hoyo and Kuro, could be the case. Could be the case. But so far, make an argument that Zenless is. But yeah. If I were to pick now, it would be Zenless. But at the time of both initial start, I felt like Stario had a better reception in the beginning, in my opinion. But let's see. For me, I think oddly enough, Zenless has been near perfect for my preference. I did say that the TV system was a downside of it initially. However, Zenless was something that I kept for 6 months trial period, and I only started to endorse it more and more over time. I knew that I was going to play Woo in the long term, but Zenless was actually the pleasant surprise and probably one of the miracle gotchas on my list that I actually didn't quit in the end. I want to be honest. They did the whole TV, they removed the whole TV thing fairly soon. So I felt like that made a big impact for yourself, or for people who are along the lines of, you know, hating the TV stuff like you. I felt like if that had been the thing that lasted the whole 6 months, I think Zenless would have been possibly taken down from that gacha list. Possibly. But that's the reason why. It's like the TV thing actually did get so much negative feedback out of it, which surprises me because it wasn't that big of a deal. All you really did was take out the TV thing and just left everything in between. So initially, it just became just oh, let's just load the next level instead of us traveling through TV. For the most part, that's how I see it. It is what it is. Like I said, they chose to cater to 90 over to 10. But it didn't really bother me. So not sure, but I'm not getting what Noki's hungover about. Neither was I. Especially because it's my account. And that's it. So yeah. I don't know what to say about that. Also, Eugene Daddy is very disturbing. I totally agree. Because not only was I getting interrogated about my about my carrot jewels, investigated. It's like he brought up it's like a search warrant came out of nowhere. It's like, oh, let me see what happened. Let me know all the details and all that, because I can't remember. Well, neither can I for the most part, especially if I can't recall why my carrot jewels are this low. Because you're asking. The only reason why I'm noticing is you're asking me. So how would I know if you're the only one asking? If the person who owns the account, it doesn't even notice a difference, because it's kind of the same year in, year out so far. So the fact that I was getting questioned about it and all that, it's like, What am I supposed to tell you? I literally post all my polls. Most of my, not most, because sometimes I do most runs off camera. Most of my runs off camera, but yes, most of my runs are done off camera. I should say. But it's like, I wouldn't notice unless someone said something. You're the only one who said something, so you tell me, right? If you're the one who noticed all this whole time, then pretty sure maybe you can tell me why. So yeah. And then on top of that, to add the questionable comment of calling Eugen daddy. Yeah, it's a weird combination of getting question and then that comment. Tanoki responded saying, 1 or 2 sparks could be luck, but 20k difference is like 2/3 of all carrots. Then Noah says, I don't know, Noki. My card luck is not as good as Uma luck. At least I know that for sure. I don't know. You can't really compare card luck with Uma luck because Uma's, you can get it. You can get one within 40 pulls or 20 pulls. Like Nova. And you don't have to care about getting dupes. Support cards, well, you get one and you're like, damn, I gotta get 4 more. But Nova, being the guy he is, who can clear two new cards, max limit break them, and 2 pities. Well, I mean, if you think about it, that's 1 pity per card. But in total, you could have gone all the way to 10 pity for all 10 cards. Max. So, just knowing that, it's like, if we put it that way, then I'd say your card luck has been stupid better than the average as well. But comparing it to your Uma pulls, the amount of pulls is not equal. Since especially you've been only doing like 40 pulls, the max, or your Uma pulls. So yeah, we gotta talk about that. Oh, how you got like 40 less pulls for like most of your Uma pulls, and then half Annie, I went all the way to pity. Yeah. And who was more worried? Nova. For some odd reason. Has all this currency and all that, and he's the one who's more worried. But that's besides the point. So yeah. Second to the last comment from Nova. To me, the only true measure of my luck is if someone can compare their luck in the 22 gotchas that I do play and see if I'm actually luckier or not. Until then, everything salty can be considered null and void. Compare their luck in the 22 gotchas that I do play and see if I'm actually luckier or not. Uma to Uma, for both of us, yes. Zenless Uwa? I'd say Zenless were... See, this is the hard thing about... It's hard to compare luck also when one person swipes and one person doesn't. Because one person has more currency than the other, so one person can run out of currency while the others just keep pulling. Do we put that into consideration? Because I don't know your total amount of pulls in these other games. Prior, like, I don't know your amount of actual free currency before actually pulling for the characters, while I'm just going in with what I have. So another is one meant to compare one person with their gacha games and all that, like you said. It's one to compare a whale and a free-to-play player. And then Rick said Tsuyoshi might get an ult before Turbo. That's jinxing the poor Eugen into oblivion. Hope not. I hope not, but if it happens, it happens, I guess. If it happens, it happens, I guess. But thank you, Tanoki, for all the comments. Tanoki, Eugen for Eugen. I just read something about Eugen. Oh no, I was gonna read one of Eugen's comments that I missed like a couple of videos ago again. But thank you, Nova, for all the comments. Appreciate it as always. There we go. There we go. Thought I was gonna, don't know what happened there, but next comments are from Tanoki. First one saying, I think for short mile was about mid UB for the island scenario. It was only low UA for medium long. Okay. So maybe low UA for short mile, and maybe we could see mid UAs for Arimakina and CM in January. Okay, so me being a mid UB is not too far back if we go along these terms. It's fair enough. It's fair enough. I assumed it wasn't going to be that far off, but that's fine. So if like I said, if I can at least get around the mid UBs, then I think I'll be okay. Dirt Uma so far managed to hit UA 1 and UB 9 consistently, but the skill inheritances on them aren't the greatest. Okay, so that means, yeah, if that's the consistent, then I'm not that far off. Just fine. I'll take it. I'll take it. But I need to get it consistently to be more comfortable. But at the same time, the next events aren't even dirt, so do I even worry? Maybe not. Maybe not. This ain't a carrot audit. This is the last comment from Tanogi. I'm just holding a random convo and targeting banners and carrots because you mentioned the banners you targeted. I only mentioned the banners because you said that you don't remember some of my polls in the past, so I just had to remember what I remembered. To say what I remembered. So it's not that I don't know if I even, why did I mention banners besides that? Wouldn't it be because I mentioned it because you questioned it? Because if that's the main reason, then that's the main reason why I about it. Let's see. I would give it like what, three videos ago. I don't know how I would bring it up because normally I won't bring up banners unless it's a banner video or the topic was in a comment about banners. But yeah, unless it was mentioned, I don't think I'd talk about it on my own. So in my head, I feel like you mentioned it, and that's why I brought it up. Because why would I bring up past banners if no one mentioned? The only reason why I think is someone would ask why I am missing a certain amount of carrot jewels. So it just felt like you barely pulled out all this year and still have no carrot. Just wondering if you semi-retired. If I semi-retired, do you think I'd be posting the same schedule? If I semi-retired, you probably think that I wouldn't be trying to, you know, figure out the scenario as much as I can. I could have just been like Rick and just autoing, not without doing a manual run. I don't know what sign of it was me semi-retiring. Me playing, doing with the consistent schedule still normally. I still do log in every day. Still post the same schedule. The heck are you talking about? Me semi-retiring? It's nonsense to me. You would know if I was semi-retiring if you noticed that I was having negative feelings toward the game. I don't know where that was. I don't know where that was. I don't know how you noticing my carrots equals because of the amount equals into me. It equals into you wondering if I was semi-retired. I don't know how that made a connection. I don't know how that made a connection, but all this happened because you questioned it, so I don't know how I'm the one who mentioned it. I only mentioned it because you started the convo, so it wouldn't have been mentioned if you didn't mention it first to begin with. So yeah, thank you Tanoki for all the comments. Appreciate it as always. I don't know. It's just weird. But I do remember seeing a comment from Eugen and like, I think the first Kita video. I think the first Kita video that I trained for dirt. If I'm remembering correctly, I don't think that's where all that good. So I don't think this was a good one. Yeah, there was a comment from Nova in the Zenless video, which I didn't go over. It says, I think I finally got the hang of Yutari's parry after fighting the left boss and did get to 31k. She does more damage than I thought, to be honest. I can't say she power creeps Miyabi though. Just solid enough to a second option for ice. Lycon is really is a good fit here. I agree. Because my Lycon wasn't built. He was still like level 58. He didn't have all his core skills. I think I only went up to B for his core skills, and his talents or whatever were like level 2 or 3 from whatever the dupes gave me. So the fact that I was able to do what I did in the video, I mean, I guess it was fine because Yutari was doing all the damage anyway. But yeah, she did definitely hit harder than but I feel like it had just a lot of it with her being Rupture. I think it's kind of like how Miyabi is Anomaly in a sense. So yeah, and then thank you Nova for that comment. And then Eugen did comment this in the first Kita Dirt video. It says, I don't know why I didn't go over this, but it says, well, I agree with Shushu how to determine if the card is general by looking the rare skills regardless the hint it provides. Since in the first place, if we refer for the hints, we could go for SR instead. And that's how the SSR cards were for the rare gold skills. Of course, Harura's general guts card, since the rare skill of that card doesn't matter anyways. Yeah, that was a general consensus at least. Nice Kita running on dirt. That would be muddy when it rains, but yeah, nice to see Cheeto-san running that kind of dirt distance. To be honest, in Zenless, I do know how to parry and auto guard dodge, whatever it's called, but if you ask me to look what buffs duration, to be honest, it's hard for me to determine. I'm not sure if the interface is lacking or hard for me to determine. Maybe it's simple terms like MMORPG with icon, button buffs that would be easy for me. The best easy for me to observe is from Lucia and the one mentioned by Nova on Astra. There are... I don't really know what button to press. You pretty much just have to look at their core skills and all that. That's where would all the buffs be. Even, yeah, and the talents, the levels, that goes up to like level 12. Basically just click on what it does, I guess. To read from there, or look for on the website of their what their skills does. Pretty sure there's a lot of those that because they're just describing what their kit does. But other than that, that is pretty much it for all the comments. So thank y'all for the comments. Thank you, Rick, Nova, Tanoki, and Eugen. Even though it was a later comment, it was my fault for not picking up on it. So thank you all for the comments. Appreciate it as always. And we ended off with, oh, actually we did end it off with pretty good speed. Yeah, this run could have been better if power and guts was a little bit higher. That's pretty much it. And I guess stamina as well, since the rank would be higher if it was higher. The whole wise thing I still haven't figured out, so, or yeah, I figured out why it's a thing, but it is what it is. But with that being said, guys, that is gonna be the end of this video. If you guys have made it this far, I do want to say thank you. If you guys can, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below. Let me know how you guys are doing with your prep for the League of Heroes, with it being like 2 days away. I know all of us we haven't really figured out the scenario, so I guess we're just gonna be hoping for the best. Hoping for the best for the League of Heroes and see how far we go with what we can do. But with that being said, guys, if there's anything else you want to talk about, just leave it down in the comment section down below. As long as it's appropriate, I'll go over it. And if you guys haven't joined our Discord server, link is down in the description. There's a channel called Circle Quest for those who haven't joined a circle or are looking for a circle to join. Y'all are free to join the circle that I'm in. It is called Shoo Shoo. Once you give that a search, hit request join. It'll let me know that you want to join the circle. Then after that, head over to the comment section or the circle request channel on our Discord server. Let me know that you sent the request along with your in-game name, just so I can make sure to add you into the circle and not somebody else. But with that being said, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you once again. And as always, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.